Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for the 8th, I believe it's the 8th recipe from the Destiny cookbook. Today we are making another drink called London Fog. It's no secret that Devram loves tea. I've shared this delightful recipe with him because it provides an interesting twist on his usual cuppa. This sweetness of the honey and the nuttiness of the almond milk make this drink soothing and delicious. This is an easy difficulty recipe. It takes 15 minutes of prep and 10 minutes of cooking. It yields 2 cups of tea. It is also dairy-free. It only requires 5 ingredients. You're also going to need 1.5 cups of water in addition to 2 Earl Grey tea bags, 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey, 2 cups of almond milk, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. So guys, our first step is to take 1.5 cups of water, which is currently in this pot, and let it boil. So that's going to take a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the stove. So the next thing we want to do is place our 2 Earl Grey tea bags into a large cup. In this case, we're just going to use my measuring cup because it's big enough. Along with that, we're also going to want to put in 2 to 3 tablespoons of honey, depending on how sweet you want your tea to be. I mean, I'm a southerner, so sweet tea is typically a part of people's diets here. I don't really drink it much because I don't really actually like it that much. So I'm just going to use 3 tablespoons, partially because I really don't care much for tea. It's really not a drink that I'm a big fan of. I'm much more of a coffee person. So that's 1 tablespoon. I've had this honey ever since I was in Cincinnati. It's a good thing it doesn't actually go bad. Or it takes extremely long amounts of time to go bad. And this is our 3rd and final tablespoon. So I'm going to actually stick this in here. We're going to use it to stir in just a second. So once the water gets to boiling, we are going to pour it into this cup thing here. And we're going to let the tea steep, which apparently means just sort of sit and let the tea bag simmer and the other ingredients simmer for 5 to 7 minutes. So during that time, we'll be doing the second step. Alright guys, the water has been boiled, as you can tell by all the steam coming off of it. So we're going to pour it into here and let it steep for 5 to 7 minutes. Which means like just sit there for 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to stir that just a little bit. Oh, there goes part of the tea bag. Like I said, I'm not much of a tea person and I'm not particularly knowledgeable on making the drink compared to coffee, which I am a much bigger fan of. So I guess if you guys like tea, this recipe will be good for you because, I mean, there's a lot of people that prefer tea to coffee. So we're going to let that steep for 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to set a timer and then be right back. Since it said 5 to 7 minutes, I just split it right down the middle and we're going to let this steep for about 6 minutes. So the next step I'm actually not going to do the way the cookbook recommends. It wants you to use 2 cups of almond milk, put it in a medium saucepan over medium heat, let it simmer for 5 minutes, remove it, then whisk in the vanilla extract, and then blend it in a blender for up to 5 minutes to make the milk frothy. So that's just a common thing, is frothed milk on like coffee and stuff. I don't see it as often on tea from when I've seen it for sale and stuff, so I actually have a bit of an advantage here. This device right here is a Nespresso milk frother. I have it to put just a little bit of frothed milk on my coffee in the morning. Now, it really only comfortably holds like no more than a cup, so we're only going to be using about 1 cup of almond milk versus the 2 that it says, and we're going to be using less vanilla extract, so about half. We're going to use a ½ teaspoon. I think that's going to be enough because I don't even think that's 1 full cup. So we're just going to do it that way. That's the easier way. Oh, well, that leaked a little bit. We're going to pour that in and then whisk it a bit. But yeah, this is an Nespresso milk frother. I have it for my coffee and it works great. It froths the milk quite well. I also don't think I've ever had almond milk, so we'll see how this goes. I'm just making sure the little latch is on properly. So now we're just going to take this top and we're going to let this froth. It takes about 4-ish minutes, I think, 3 to 4 minutes. I usually just do this and have the coffee maker going when I use the bathroom in the morning. So I'll be back to you guys once both of these are done doing their things. Alright guys, the tea has steeped for about 6 minutes. So I believe I can go ahead and pour this into my 2 different cups. One of them is a Yeti cup that will keep this warm for a lot longer. It's a little bit of a big cup though. And we're also going to use this highball glass that I recently got for the rest of it. Alright, it definitely looks like tea. So now that we've got both of these, I can top it with some frothed milk. So I'm going to spoon it out. This is how people make like those funky designs and stuff at like fancy places. They use milk that's been frothed like this. I'm going to say this right now, this looks exactly like beer. Obviously it's not, but it looks exactly like beer. Oh, I'm so glad I have the milk frother though, because I don't want to blend this for 5 minutes. That would be loud and obnoxious. Alright guys, so this is it. Like I said, this literally looks like beer. It looks exactly like a beer, like a draft beer. So I assume it's not going to taste anything like draft beer though. It smells very good though. That's really not bad. As someone who isn't a tea kind of person, this is not bad. Not at all. Like the tea taste isn't too overpowering. I taste more of the honey than anything. I think the frothy milk, I don't think it adds a whole lot to it, so I would say that if you're making this at home and you don't have like an easy way to get your milk frothed or frothy or whatever you want to call it, then skip out on it and maybe just pour in a little bit of milk with some vanilla extract as like one of your ingredients. But honestly, this is not bad at all. Like this, if I was a tea person, I would definitely make this again. But like I said, I am much more of a coffee person. But that's really not bad. I mean, like I said, the honey's kind of overpowering taste of it. So if you like your tea to be a little bit more bitter, then you might just want to use less honey. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I would say we had yet another success from this cookbook. We're what, like 7-1 right now? The Hush Puppies were kind of a disaster, but that was probably more of my fault than anything. But all the other recipes have been successful so far, so I'm really happy with this cookbook. It's been amazing so far. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. And I will see you guys for the next cooking video.